Next on the News Center Nightbeat, some handicapped voters in Arkansas want equal access to the voting booths.
The battle over a failed incinerator project in Fayetteville continues tomorrow.
And one U.S. official says Neil Bush is clear of any wrongdoing so far in connection with a savings and loan failure. These stories are straight ahead, along with weather and sports final.
From Channel 40, Channel 29. Edward Mertz. Melanie Moon. The weather with Gene Anderson. And sports final with Neil Jones. This is the News Center Nightbeat.
Welcome to our report. During this election year, most people are thinking about the candidates, not the polling places. But the physically handicapped say over 90% of the polling places in Arkansas are not accessible. The Arkansas Disabilities Coalition and the Arkansas Civil Liberties Union are working to get state and federal officials to make polling places accessible. An ACLU representative said if state leaders don't make all 75 counties comply with the law, the ACLU will file lawsuits. Both state and federal laws require that polling places be accessible to the disabled.
Well, a judge is expected to decide tomorrow if the incinerator lawsuit against the city of Fayetteville will be heard in state or federal court. The group wanting the lawsuit to remain in state court said the issues involved are state issues, and the lawsuit would be more complicated if heard in a federal court.
The issues that should be decided in state court are whether or not our state constitution, which prohibits a municipality from lending its credit to another corporation, or the issues regarding the state statutes, which prohibit a municipality for paying for services that it does not get. Those should be decided in state court and not in federal court.
The motion on which court will hear the incinerator lawsuit is scheduled for 1:30 tomorrow in the Washington County Quorum Courts building.
Arkansas investigators are soliciting help from as many as 22 states as they continue to look into Attorney General Steve Clark's expense records. Authorities are asking law officials in other states to gather records from restaurants, bars, and hotels where Clark spent state money for dining or entertainment. No state has yet refused to help, but so far only 5 have returned any information. Clark is charged with 1 count of theft by deception for spending state money for personal use. Meanwhile, Arkansas Republican gubernatorial hopeful believes that Governor Bill Clinton is running scared. Sheffield Nelson says Clinton's involvement in 2 major environmental announcements in a week is unusual for a sitting governor. The governor announced a paper recycling project in Morrilton and plans to seek scenic river status for a state river. Nelson says that Clinton's involvement was aimed at picking up points in the polls. The two will face off in the governor's race this fall. Ed?
Well, a London newspaper reports that American officials have warned U.S. airlines of a threat to blow up a Pan Am jet. The report said a female passenger with a Canadian passport may be tricked into carrying a suitcase with a bomb onto a Pan Am flight from West Germany within the next 10 days. The U.S. government refused to comment on the report. We have more, though, of today's news in our World Wrap. Neil Bush, one of the sons of President George Bush, is growing angry with increased questioning of his involvement with the bankrupt Silverado savings. The younger Bush is getting more and more attention from the American public. On This Week with David Brinkley, the U.S. Attorney General Richard Thornburgh, who was appointed by the president, said now is not the time for an independent prosecutor to look into the involvement of the president's son.
And you have to look at 2 things here. One, is there any allegation of criminal wrongdoing? And secondly, is there a conflict of interest? We will address both those questions at the proper time.
Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev said he and West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl are closer on the issue of a unified Germany with NATO membership. The two are discussing security and cooperation agreements, and Mr. Gorbachev said they are close on major questions. The talks between the two continue tomorrow. 4 children, aged 2 through 7, drowned last night when the car they were in sped into a 40-foot deep creek near Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The car was being driven by their 13-year-old relative with the help of her uncle. The 27-year-old man was rescued and is in critical condition. The 13-year-old driver swam to safety. All 4 children who drowned were in the back seat and could not be rescued. And finally, the matriarch of the Kennedy clan, Rose Kennedy, celebrated her 100th birthday today. 4 of her 5 surviving children, as well as most of her 28 grandchildren and 22 great-grandchildren, attended the party. Mrs. Kennedy actually turns 100 next Sunday. That's the World Wrap for this Sunday, July 15th.
Back here at home, some environmental groups want to put a stop to the burning of toxic waste at an Arkansas plant. Today, a coalition of environmental groups gathered at the state capitol to protest the incineration project at the Vertac plant in Jacksonville. The group says the plant's evacuation plan is unacceptable and that the risk to area residents is too great.
An Oklahoma woman who is concerned about the environment and her health is taking her battle against secondhand smoke to the state capitol. Lily Hembry won a landmark lawsuit over the smokers in her workplace 7 years ago. Now she's joining with a group called GROSS, or Get Rid of Secondhand Smoke. The Tulsa-based group is calling for a ban on smoking in grocery stores, nursing homes, daycare centers, and places where food is stored. The News Center Nightbeat will continue in a few minutes.
Still to come, an open house at the area's only trolley museum. Stay with us.
News Center Nightbeat and Sports Final is brought to you by Mayo Building Supply, by Pioneer Mobile Homes, by Pioneer Auto Sales, by Springdale Air Service, and by the Optical Department at Sears.
Oh, hi. Hey, I was just looking over some of these nice mobile homes at Pioneer Mobile Homes, just north of Springdale. Actually, it's 2.2 miles north of AQ Chicken. Yeah, I can smell the chicken from here. Woo! Boy, is that nice. These are nice, too. And right away, you tell us to get out of mobile homes when it's stormy. But most of the time, the weather's not stormy. Plus, Chuck Herford gives away a weather radio with every one of these sold. So come on. They're nice. And they smell good, too.
Are you puzzled when it comes to buying a used car? Are you puzzled about pricing or financing? Are you puzzled about the quality of the car you are getting? Are you puzzled about sales tax?
Let us help solve the puzzle. Our cars are priced fairly according to age and condition. We have a finance plan to fit any budget, and when it comes to used cars and quality, we stand alone. We pay sales tax on out-of-state vehicles. We give free oil changes and guaranteed safety inspections.
So there really is no puzzle when you buy a car from Credit Auto Sales in Springdale.
Or Pioneer Auto Sales in Rogers.
Springdale Air Service has the early flight out of northwest Arkansas to Little Rock Monday through Friday. Your departure from Springdale at 7 a.m. will put you in Little Rock by 8 a.m. Springdale Air Service has a convenient return flight Monday through Friday that gets you back in Springdale at 6:30 in the evening the same day. When you need to be in Little Rock, we'll get you there for the low fare of $64.80 one way. And we maintain the largest charter fleet of aircraft. Call Springdale Air Service to charter your flight now.
Fort Smith will soon have a streetcar running in parts of the city. The Fort Smith Trolley Museum held an open house today to showcase trolley car number 224. It's just minutes away from finishing touches to being restored to its original condition in 1933. The streetcar restoration project runs on contributions, and museum officials say today was a chance to let contributors see how work is progressing.
Every year have an open house to show the people who are supporting us and to the city and the community what progress we've made in the last year in restoring a Fort Smith trolley. And we're getting close to having one completely restored.
Martin says when the car is completely restored, operations should not be too far away. And when it is running, Martin says Fort Smith will be among the few cities in the world to have its own streetcar operating as a museum piece.
And another open house was held today at the new home of the Fort Smith Clearinghouse. Clearinghouse is a community service organization that provides assistance to area needy families, including food, medicine, and utility and rent assistance. Each summer, the Clearinghouse distributes fans to those in need. And according to the Clearinghouse Board President, more than 200 homes have received fans in recent years.
The community, and that's still our primary need that we're trying to do. We're also, of course, involved with the fan program, and the hot weather is still with us here for a few more months, and so that's also a great big need, too.
At Christmas, Clearinghouse supplies holiday baskets to needy area families, and in a relatively new undertaking, Clearinghouse has, for the past 3 years, obtained emergency dental services and eyeglass care for needy children.
A new Miss Arkansas has begun her reign. The former Miss White River, Carissa Russia of Benton, received her crown last night. Carmen Jones of Little Rock, Miss South Arkansas, was first runner-up. Local winners include Miss Northwest Arkansas, Shannon Boy of Alma, who was the fourth runner-up. Miss Sebastian County, Stacy Dishner of Fort Smith, was one of the top 10 finalists.
And your work week forecast is coming up. Gene Anderson joins us when we come back.
As a working mother, I have to budget time as well as finances. So when we need glasses or contacts, we go to the optical department at Sears. They're even open on Saturdays, so I don't have to miss work and the kids don't miss school. What's more, if the expense is unexpected, I can put it on my Sears or Discover card and make easy monthly payments. Think about it. A quality eye exam, affordable eyeglasses, convenient hours, and the Sears or Discover charge card. Now that's perfect for my time and budget.
Our goal is to offer quality building material at reasonable prices and extra service when needed.
Mayo Building Supply is your Coradco wood window headquarters. Coradco windows and patio doors with Sun Century are nearly twice as energy efficient as standard insulated glass. Sun Century, an available option on most styles of Coradco windows and patio doors, is a high-performance addition that makes Coradco an even better choice.
We would like the opportunity to provide you with your building needs.
Replacing that old air conditioner with an electric heat pump not only gives you peace and quiet, it also gives you peace of mind. For more information on the energy-efficient heat pump, call a SWEPCO residential consultant.
Nelm Chevrolet is the lowest price dealer in Northwest Arkansas, and here's why.
90 Cavalier VL, $69.88. 91 Camaro, $11,988. 90 Lumina Coupe, $12,988. 91 Caprice, $14,988. 91 S10EL, $63.88. 90 Silverados, $10,995. And a Super Service Special 4-wheel alignment, $39.95.
The lowest prices and free service loaner cars for the first year at Nelm Chevrolet, where we're doing business the right way.
Jeannie Anderson is here with our weather. I know a lot of people are going to have a hard time going back to work tomorrow. It was just gorgeous, gorgeous weekend.
This was enough to make you spoiled, wasn't it? Things are starting to get back to normal, however, and they're warming up and it's starting to feel like July all over again, especially after what we had this morning, record-breaking low temperatures for the second day in a row. I believe we got down to 53 degrees in Fort Smith this morning, all the way down to 47 in Gilbert, Arkansas. So things were rather cool, but they're starting to heat up once again. Here's what's happening around the nation tonight. Low pressure working over the Ohio Valley this evening and spreading showers from as far south as Florida all the way northward to some of the New England states. There have been some reports of flooding in Pennsylvania earlier today, as well as Ohio. There was quite a bit of flooding. And there was also some flooding reported in Tucson, Arizona. Quite a bit of rain out there today. Things are starting to slack off a little bit. But look at what's happening down in South Texas. As much as 12 inches of rain has been reported today in parts of the lower Rio Grande Valley. And we've also got a watch box posted for the northern Texas Panhandle area, as well as southwestern Oklahoma this evening. And when we take a look at our satellite photograph, we'll kind of get an idea of what's going on. Look at this massive cloud dome hanging over Texas tonight, and notice the way it's starting to move our way into the Arkansas area, and we're also seeing quite a bit of cloudiness in Oklahoma. This is what's going to have an effect on things to come our way. Tomorrow, what we're going to keep an eye on is this high pressure system that has been dominating our weather for the past few days. Notice it's moved quite a bit eastward away from us, and what's happening is that that is allowing some southerly winds to move into our area, and that's why things are starting to warm up quite a bit, and it's starting to feel like summertime again. And you probably feel the humidity building also, and that's the way it's going to be for the next couple of days. We may have a chance for a shower by Tuesday. Tonight, however, we've got some video we're going to show you with our forecast tonight to get you in the mood for a tennis tournament that we want to talk about. We've got a big publicity tennis tournament taking place tomorrow night for the folks at the Western Arkansas Ballet Theater. These are some folks at Wilson Park playing tennis earlier today. If we could, let's go ahead and look at our forecast tonight. Partly cloudy and not as cool this evening. Winds from the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. The lows 60 for Fayetteville, 65 for Fort Smith. Tomorrow, warmer and a little more cloudy. Winds from the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour. The high in Fayetteville tomorrow, 88 degrees. Fort Smith, 90, may even get a little higher than that. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy and warmer, maybe even a shower. The lows 64 and 68 right now. Are looking ahead, pardon me, mostly cloudy, not quite as warm as the week progresses. In the meantime, it's going to be pretty warm, spotty showers, maybe. 74, the current temperature in Fayetteville, 66% the humidity, winds are calm, the high 87, low 53. Current temperature in Fort Smith, 78 degrees, the humidity is at 42%, winds are from the south at 8, the high 92 in Fort Smith today, the low 53. And more about the tennis tournament. This is for the Western Arkansas Ballet Theater. It's a publicity tournament. They're actually having something a little more serious about a week later. But Jerry Overton is going to be playing in the tournament along with Daryl Cunningham, our general manager from Channel 40. And they're taking on Burr Edson and Kevin Bowman from Channel 5. So we want to win, and we want you guys to come out and join in the fun. It ought to be a lot of fun. 7 o'clock tomorrow evening at Creekmore Park. Hope to see you there.
Should be a good match.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, that wraps up our weather and news segments. In Fort Smith, I'm Melanie Moon.
And in Fayetteville, I'm Edward Mertz. Don't go away. Sports Final when we come back.
Coming up in Sports Final, the state's best golfers have concluded the Cellular One Invitational in Fayetteville, while the Greg Norman Challenge made its debut on national television today. A Benton County Babe Ruth baseball team is in the playoffs. The only thing unusual about that, the coach. And a father-son team took top honors at the overnight bass tournament on Beaver Lake. These stories, Major League Baseball highlights, scores, and much more coming up in just a moment on Sports Final.
It's back. The Great White. The Great White Isuzu truck sale at Jim Ray Isuzu. By popular demand, the factory has authorized Jim Ray's second annual white truck sale. Over 100 brand new 90 Isuzu pickups now in stock, all at one unbelievably low sale price. Just $58.88. $58.88. A great price. During the Great White Isuzu truck sale at Jim Ray Isuzu. Hurry, don't let the one you want get away.
You won't think of it at first, but you will need an attorney. We can put your mind at ease over the legalities of divorce. And if you're one of the many having a tough time making ends meet and you're out of more than answers, we can answer all your questions about bankruptcy. Or if you've had a personal injury that you should be compensated for, find out what your rights are. Don't suffer needlessly.
Jones and Reynolds, attorneys at law.
A clean office is an important aspect of your company's reputation. And when you put yourself in the capable hands of Marvin's building maintenance team, you can rest assured the job will get done right. Marvin's cleans from top to bottom with the latest and most effective equipment, including ceiling cleaning with a safe, non-bleach solution. Marvin's also features upholstery and drapery cleaning and the best in carpet steam cleaning. Put yourself in the capable hands of Marvin's building maintenance.
Hi, I'm Bill Ball. Let me talk to the luxury car buyer for a minute. If you're looking for the highest quality American car on the road today, the answer is clear: Chrysler Imperial. In an independent study, the Imperial topped every American car in 13 of 16 quality rating categories. Imperial also outscored the Lincoln Town Car and the Cadillac Eldorado in overall satisfaction of luxury car owners. Prove it to yourself. Chrysler Imperial, new to the 90s, now showing at the dealer that makes a difference.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sports Final. Neil Jones on vacation this weekend. The Cellular One Golf Tournament in Fayetteville normally contains the best Arkansas State Golf Association has to offer. Well, starting final round play today, a few of the top ASGA golfers were in a tie at the top. Ronnie Ocker, Herman Evans, and Dan Mosier were all 3 ahead of the field. And things looked good for Ronnie Ocker on hole number 3. He was set for par, but couldn't get the putt to fall. Now, on that same hole, co-leader Dan Mosier had the same result. Mosier gets the putt and the par. On the par 5 fourth, Herman Evans looked to be in the best shape of the day. A nice approach shot lands on line with the hole, but it still leaves him far enough out that he had to 2-putt. Mosier missed a birdie chance, parred the hole, but so did the other leaders, stayed even, and eventually pulled ahead. Dan Mosier went on to win the Cellular One Classic by 2 strokes over Ronnie Ocker. Mosier had a 2-day total of 143. Lindy finished 3rd at 147. Well, former Oklahoma State NCAA champion golfer Scott Verplank's streak of bad luck is continuing on the PGA Tour. Verplank led after the 2nd and 3rd rounds of the Bank of Boston Classic, but he lost by 1 stroke after today's final round. Morris Satolsky, who had not won a tournament in 2 years, birdied the last 4 holes to carry him to victory. Now, Patty Sheehan knows about bad luck. She had it from the beginning of the final day of the U.S. Women's Open. She once led the field by 6 strokes, but then lost it thanks to shots like this one that goes right into the water on 18. That was the final hole of round 3 before the 4th round began. She bogeyed the hole. Betsy King had all the good fortune today. She had trailed by 10 strokes early in the tournament, but hit key shots like this long putt on 11, and King won the Open by a stroke over Sheehan. Now, the rain-shortened Kroger's PGA Senior Tournament went to Jim Dent. He had a winning score of 9 under par to win that today. Well, you know, this past week featured an exciting couple of days for those of us here in Northwest Arkansas. And of course, talking about Tuesday and Wednesday, when Greg Norman was in town and hosted a challenge golf match at Champions. Yvonne Lindell, Larry Bird, Wayne Gretzky all on hand. They were the challengers. And the event was played, as I said, at Champions Golf and Country Club near Rogers. Today, the final 9 holes of the match were shown on national television. Viewers saw Norman win by 2 strokes and then take the $100,000 top prize. Now, joining me to talk about this past week's event is Mario Rentero, the director of Golf at Champions. Thanks for being with us. First of all, Mario, this was a made-for-TV event that we saw put on by Champions. How does that differ, or how difficult is it to put on something like that as compared to a regular PGA event or other tournament?
It was tremendously difficult. The producer and the director were on site about 3 or 4 days before the tournament started, and they were picking pin placements and tee positions and, of course, getting some kind of idea of just how the tournament would look on television here at Champions. And that was kind of interesting. The conversation between those people was back and forth, and it was quite an experience.
All right, we have some highlights. Let's go take a look at some of these. Now, these 4 guys throughout the 2 days appeared to have a great time here. This was on hole number 18, and you see Norman going over and pulling out the tools of the trade for the other guys. If you would, tell us what Champions was hoping to get from this event, and do you see another challenge next summer?
Yes, I do, Jerry. The exposure for something like this is tremendous. Already the phone is starting to ring. We're starting to see some kind of results already. Only 72 hours ago, for instance, people were calling, asking for information on not only Northwest Arkansas, but of course Champions.
All right, now what about the future? You've talked about trying to have a PGA Seniors Tour here. Greg mentioned the possibility that the course would be good enough to handle a regular PGA event. What about that?
Greg was very complimentary of the golf course. When we asked him about the Seniors Tour, he was not only complimentary about that, but also the regular tour. He said this would test any player of any caliber. Yes, we are interested in a PGA Tour Seniors event. Unfortunately, the waiting list is 3 to 4 years long, so we're hoping to get up on that list.
And then, in the meantime, try to continue on with events like this one.
With any luck, we'll have the Greg Norman Challenge back next year, and so far all parties involved are in favor of that.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations on an outstanding event this week.
Thank you, Jerry.
Now, when we come back in just a moment, highlights of some of today's Major League Baseball games, the scores, and then later on we'll introduce you to a hard-driving skating team from Fort Smith. Stay with us.
at Griffith in the Osho. It's the 10th annual tent sale. It all starts Wednesday, July 17th, 4 days only, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day. All prices are clearly marked on the windshield. The best prices this year. Over 160 1990 model cars and trucks, 35 priced under $11,500 after rebates if they apply. So go to Griffith in the Osho, have some popcorn and Pepsi, find a guy in a Griffith hat, and buy that 90 model car or truck.
Griffith in the Osho.
Griffith Motor Company, Neo Show.
You know, people who wouldn't dream of playing the stock market may be gambling their life savings on something far more risky. Today's skyrocketing cost of hospital care. This brochure in your Sunday paper tells about a plan that's guaranteed to pay direct cash benefits every time you're hospitalized for any covered sickness or accident, plus extra benefits for cancer or heart attacks. Don't gamble with your family security. Read this brochure in your Sunday newspaper.
We're here when you need us, Physicians Mutual.
Come to Quality Rentals or call now and I'll give you your first week free if you rent to own anything in stock. When you see our rates, you'll see why we say we may not cost as much, but we sure are worth as much.
KHBS, KHOG want your vacation photos. Cruising the Caribbean, relaxing in the family whirlpool, or a moonlight stroll. We want your best shot. Mail your summer shot photo entries to this address. Then watch the News Center at 6 each weeknight. You might be a daily winner of a Rand McNally road map or a grand prize winner of a trip for two to Acapulco from Executive Travel. Air travel provided by American Eagle American Airlines. Or an original jewelry design from Grams of Gold Fine Jewelry. Summer Shot 3 from your Fun Time Summertime station.
The Nissan Sentra. Economy, value, performance, and quality, all in one handsome package. The Nissan hard-body truck. Rugged, durable, stylish, with more power than ever before. And right now at Houston Taylor Motors, you can buy either model with no money down, and Houston Taylor will pay the sales tax. Rebates are available too. Don't waste your hard-earned money on sales tax and down payments. Save it for vacation. That's Houston Taylor Motors in Fayetteville, Northwest Arkansas's only Nissan dealership.
Welcome back. You know, as tough as the season has been for the St. Louis Cardinals, they can rest a bit easier after tonight. They don't have to face the San Francisco Giants anymore. Now, the Cardinals lost the first two of the series Thursday and Friday, won last night. And tonight's game, well, it went the Giants' way early. San Francisco got an unearned run in the second. In the third, Will Clark at bat, and he looks at this John Tudor pitch, lines it into right center field, and got a single there, thought about going to second, but then decided to go back to first. And that was a smart move because Kevin Mitchell was up next, and he had no intention of stranding Clark. Mitchell sized up this Cardinal John Tudor pitch, slapped a changeup deep to the center of the ballpark. This was his 24th home run of the year. That gave the Giants a 3-0 lead until Todd Zeile answered with a home run of his own an inning later. Now in the seventh, St. Louis trailing 3-2. Willie McGee hit a long fly to center that dropped in, and it'll be a ground rule double. That scored Dave Collins, tied the game in the bottom of the seventh at 3-all. San Francisco scored twice more in the eighth. The Cards lose again, but like I say, they do not have to play San Francisco anymore. Now the Braves and Expos had a wild one going in Atlanta this afternoon. Home runs, the tale of this contest. The Expos' Tim Wallach led things off with a grand slam home run. Later, it was Montreal's Andres Galarragas at the plate and got into the act on his own, slamming out a shot. So now the Braves, well, they know how to use the launching pad that's Fulton County Stadium. Jeff Treadway tees off. Jim Presley also goes over the wall. Jeff Justice knocks a homer of his own. A couple of other Braves had homers. Former Razorback Jim Kramers knocked a round tripper, as did Dale Murphy. But believe it or not, did not help the Expos go on for two more on the extra points and beat Atlanta 16-14. Now to baseball from the Fort Smith area. First up, the District 7 Prep Baseball Tournament at Hernreich Field. This game between Van Buren and River Valley. Now, Van Buren got the lead on this Danny Ray single past the shortstop. Sean Gilstrap scored from second base. 6-2 Van Buren now. But the Clarksville River Valley team rallied as Terry Paul Chavers lined a shot to left field, a bad hop, and that allowed Nathan Bjorgum to score, and Clarksville took the lead in the third. Clarksville went on to win this one 12-9. Now let's go to another game played earlier in the afternoon. This is Van Buren and South Sebastian County facing the home team in a Babe Ruth tournament. Van Buren got the early lead with a Scott Rober shot between Hull in short and third. Jeff Black got on, and one of the four Van Buren runs in the first inning. South Sebastian was able to answer, but Van Buren won this one 27-12. Well, you know, Northwest Arkansas can claim state softball champions after this weekend. The Fayetteville Bluebirds took the girls 18 and under title. Fort Smith Wheels beat the Bryant Express 14-2 to win the girls 16 and under division. That's the 4th state title for the Wheels, and the A Division state champions are the Fort Smith Flame, which beat Bentonville 4-3. Tina Hetty used to coach women's softball. She still plays in a softball league, but she's discovered that that's really not her game. She prefers the faster version of the game, played with a smaller, harder ball. And now she's leading a team in Bentonville to a place it's rarely been, the state tournament, and she just might be laying the groundwork for some women in sports.
The Bentonville All-Star Babe Ruth team is pretty typical at first glance. 14 and 15-year-old boys make up the squad, which is 4-0 going into state tourney play. But the leader of the pack isn't one of the boys. Tina Hetty has coached Babe Ruth baseball for 4 years, and she's been pretty good at it. What some consider man's territory has been changed.
Most people are very surprised there's a woman out here coaching, and the boys at first are a little bit tentative. They're not real sure of it, but after they played for me, I think they all know that I have an understanding of baseball, and I enjoy it and enjoy the kids.
On the field, the players say there have been very few problems. Hetty has proven that she can coach the game. Off the field, you might expect a few detractors, and Hetty says there have been some, enough that she once considered giving it all up. But fortunately, she likes the game, and she wants to carry on.
Well, the first year I started coaching, I got hassled quite a bit by the other coaches, and they all thought that we'd take last place that year, and out of 9 teams, we ended up in 3rd place. So that right there started my career in moving up in baseball, I guess you would say, and they started to respect me a little more.
And if she's earned the respect of her peers, she's probably earned at least as much from her players.
Yeah, there's, you know, a little negativity and things like that. But then as the year went on, it went away.
She's a lot tougher than any man coach I've had so far, so it's really not any different.
As with any coach, there's always been someone looking over Hetty's shoulder. Although response has been good for the most part, she admits that there are times when those comments filter down from the stands and the opposing dugouts. But she says both she and her players know how to handle it.
I told her, I said, you know, if it were a man coaching out there, for every coach you got on the field, there'll be 40 sitting in the stands. And she's got to go out and coach the way she wants to coach. She's got to do what she thinks is best for the team.
Yeah, they don't like it because, I mean, like, she's taking a man's job and taking it over pretty good. It's the first time Bentonville's ever made it this far in a tournament.
And, of course, winning cures a lot of problems. Sometimes things can get to her, but she's never doubted her abilities. She's never wanted to throw in the towel.
There's been a few times this year because of all the hassle of it that I've thought about giving it up, but I just can't do it. I like the boys a lot. I enjoy them very much, and it gives me a lot of joy to see them win.
For the Sports Center, Chuck Carney, Bentonville.
By the way, now, Bentonville's first state tournament game is Saturday in Jacksonville, and there Hetty expects her team to draw attention while she is known simply as a winning coach. Well, up next, a trip to Beaver Lake and the Ozark Bass Anglers Tournament weigh-in. We'll also tell you about plans to build public shooting ranges in Arkansas. But first, our Major League Baseball scroll and these messages.
Try a Coke float for only $1.59 plus tax and pick up your $2 discount coupon to Dog Patch USA or Magic Springs. It's great fun from McDonald's, Magic Springs, and Dog Patch USA.
When I went to Daryl Hickman, it was real easy. I went in there and was treated good, no pressure whatsoever. I got the deal I wanted. Daryl Hickman had an excellent selection of trucks. He had several trucks there. I had a lot to choose from. I saved quite a bit on my truck. I feel like I got a real good deal at the truck at Daryl Hickman Chevrolet O's. I'd recommend anybody going to Daryl Hickman to shop. The bottom line is cash, and I think you can save it there.
These days, people are serious about looking good. At OK and Milady Cleaners and Springdale Cleaners, you can drop off your shirts, jeans, skirts, or slacks and have them cleaned and pressed by professionals. And serious-minded people will love the price, because at OK and Milady and Springdale Cleaners, we're serious about making you look good. OK and Milady Cleaners, 104 North Block Street in Fayetteville, and Springdale Cleaners, 708 South Thompson in Springdale.
If you were with us last night, you saw the start of an all-night bass tournament that happened on Beaver Lake. It was one of the Ozark Bass Anglers Association's summer qualifying events. Well, this morning at 7, with some needing a bit of rest, there were some others presenting the night's catch to the people at the scales. Father and son team James and Jim Pennington wound up with the best stringer, just over 24 pounds of fish.
All through the night. We got them all on one bank, but we just fished up the bank and turn and go back down and stayed on the same bank all night.
By the way, the Penningtons were using salt craws. Now, here are the top 3 finishing teams in last night's tournament. Penningtons took first place in the $1,300 top prize. Dennis Shorb and Randy Haught placed second with just over 19 pounds of bass, and James Laird, Mike Ferguson right behind with 18.94 pounds. Alan and Mike Henderson had the big bass, weighing in at 7.9 pounds. Well, back a couple of years ago, you'll recall the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission tacked a fee onto hunting licenses. That fee was challenged, repealed, and the money ordered returned. Well, today the state's still holding about $3.5 million of that money, which has not been claimed. $200,000 of that has been earmarked now for construction of public shooting ranges. A number of hunters have been asking for the public ranges because they say there's no place to safely sight in their weapons.
They're not firing into a bank or anything, and this is a safety problem, that they don't realize how far the rifle will go, and people's behind it in the bushes, and they'll go ahead and shoot anyway, and this is a safety problem. So if we get a firing range here in the Fort Smith area, then at least they'd have to be shooting into a bank. It would be supervised, and it'd cut down on safety by 100%.
Cost estimates for each range, $20,000. Top priority for the facilities will be hunter education, we're told. Well, in Fort Smith, there's a team who's had some good results lately. Dale Brinstead visited with them earlier this week.
When driving down Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, one might miss the sign that leads to one of the best-kept secrets in northwest Arkansas. That place being the Crystal Palace, the home of the Fort Smith speed skating team. Now, last month, the speed team took 10 skaters to the regional meet in Fort Worth, Texas. When they returned, 9 had qualified for the national championships.
They put out a lot of hard work to get to where they're at, and I believe they're going to go farther.
The team is young, but they've done well all year. Even with their success, regional results brought mixed responses.
I expected to do horrible because I haven't gone to any practices before it, but I just went to regionals and tried my hardest, and I did pretty good. I've been working really hard for it, so I figured I'd place.
Now comes the real work, with nationals in Dallas just around the corner.
Well, we're going to practice, do 2 days in the morning and afternoon. And outdoor skate.
They're ready, they're psyched out, but we still got to work. Can't quit now.
And no, they won't quit now.
I want to get to my goal. I want to win.
What's your goal?
To win nationals, and to be on the Olympics when I'm older.
Now, even though the speed skating team at Fort Smith Crystal Palace is fairly young this year,
We may not be number 1, but we're ahead of you.
and this year they were. This is Dale Brinstead for Sports Final.
Well, in sports shorts, the Fort Smith Racket Club senior 4.5 women's tennis team started playing the Southern Regional Tournament in New Orleans today. Tough day for the Fort Smith team members. They lost to South Carolina 3-0. At Tri-State Speedway last night, Billy Hunter Sr. of Alma helped himself in the overall point standings by winning the Grand National feature. Jerry Vaughn of Picola won in the IMCA Modified Division, and Billy Hunter Jr. took top honors racing in the Roadrunner class. Now, before we leave you, a reminder of things to come this week. Southwest Conference presidents meet in Dallas to discuss Arkansas's possible departure to the Southeastern Conference on Tuesday. The Goodwill Games begin in Seattle this week with some Razorbacks involved. Todd Daly Mayberry will lead the U.S. men's basketball team. Long and triple jumper Edric Floreal will also compete. That's all the time.
Skylink, making your world smaller.